Hi, I'm your host, the Humble Savage, and after months of recon, Humbly Savage is excited to present to you the Savage Amatuer Racing League. Now, some of you may be wondering who or what is Humbly Savage. Humbly Savage is a brand that we're looking to establish that seeks to do for those who can't do for themselves, and we're driven to raise the stoke here in New Jersey, because when the dust settles, it's nothing but stoke. And before we get into the racing particulars, first I want to give a huge shout out to my girlfriend Melissa. Without her never-ending support, none of this would have ever been possible. I also want to give a group thanks and shout out to any of the guys who reached out to me and offered locations. Without your recommendations, building this race league up wouldn't have been possible either. Now, I know we didn't get to all the locations, but trust me, this is just the beginning. We will get to them. But I do want you to know that I truly appreciate your support. And again, this would not be possible without you. But speaking of which, when it comes to support, keep a lookout for merchandise from Humbly Savage, as well as the Savage Amatuer Racing League. The more support we can get from the community, the more that we're going to be able to give back to you guys when it comes to prize pools and possibly putting on big events and whatnot. We're already trying to work on some sponsors and whatnot for prize pools, so just stick with us. We're trying to turn this into something. So without further ado, let's get into the particulars of the race league. Now, I'm going to do this along with you, so that way, I'm showing you and everybody's in the same area. And as far as getting into this, because I will admit this first search is kind of a pain in the butt. I might change the name in the long run, but for right now, we're just going to run with it. So if you haven't done so already, download Strava. Once you've got it downloaded, from the home page, you're going to hit the people up at the top left corner. And this is where I said it was the tricky part. So this is cap sensitive. So capital S, period, capital A, period, capital R, period, capital L. Now, if you don't see it, the third one down, you might have to put a space and then a period. And that's only because in order to get the punctuation right, you have to have a first and last name in the app when it comes down to it. So in order to get the full abbreviation for S.A.R.L, that's how I had to do it. But once you find S.A.R.L, you can go ahead and follow that account. Now that you've followed S.A.R.L, when you go to type it in, it should come up pretty easily. At least I know it'll come up after the first, couple times you search it. It'll be right there in like your frequently searched. Once you're in here and you follow, if you click onto the white space, you'll go into the app, and this is going to probably be the easiest place for you to see all the segments that we have started off for the league right now. And you go into segments, as you'll see the whole list of them there, their locations. This will give you the ability to even, let's say, tap into one of the locations. You can kind of see where it's at on the map. You can go into the map and, zoom in and zoom out on it if you want to, I believe, or touch on it and then zoom in and zoom out on it. But generally, you guys should know where these locations are. You recommended them. But yeah, so that's going to be the easiest way for you to see, like, the segments. Now, the next thing we're going to want to go to is we're going to want to go to groups, and we're going to want to go up to clubs. And in here, we're going to want to search up at the top, club search. And this is the full Savage Amatuer. And it should pop right up right after you put that, but you'll see it, Savage Amatuer Racing League. You might have to type it all. And you put there and you will request to join. Now, this is big because sometimes Strava doesn't act right, and I've been working on ways to circumvent the issues that it can have at times when it comes to the leaderboards. And you must follow the club, because that will make it easier in one of these situations for me to then find you and the people participating in this to be able to record your times as well as then developing what points you get. So once you've done that, again, that makes it easier for me to find you in case there's anything going on with the Strava app. Now, from here, you're pretty much in there. You're following me, you're following the club. Now it's time you're out there, you want to record your first ride. So you show up at the location, put all your gear on, and we're going to just go into the record. Allow access to your your location. And now you're going to choose a sport. And we're going to stick with everybody else out there. We're kind of gearing this behind the Underground Race League as well as like the One Wheel Racing League. I think the stuff they do with Strava. We're choosing ice skate. Then once you're in ice skate, you're going to hit start. Now you don't have to worry about starting this as far as like knowing when to start it for the segment. But I will say you need to start it before you get to the start area of the actual segment, because sometimes GPS can be funky. So if you literally roll up on the start zone and you're like 10, 15 feet off, pull your phone out and try to start it, it may glitch on you. And that might be the quickest run you ever had. And you don't want that to happen. So I would say if you started at the car, you should be good. Ride up. Then you'll ride through the start, you'll ride through the finish, and you can end it when you get back to the car. Now, to start off, I would like you guys all to put at least the name of the location and the name of the activity and the date. This coincides with the reason why I need you guys to follow the club. If anything happens and I have to do these things to circumvent and get around these issues, this is going to further help me be able to record your times and then calculate your points. So that way the leaderboard stays as accurate as possible. If you do ever see any discrepancies on the leaderboard, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. We're all human. We make mistakes. Trust me, I'm not perfect. It's going to happen at some point, okay? I'm telling you right now. So just stick with me. Just hit me up. Be like, hey, man, like, check this out on the state. Like I said, sometimes the Strava app can be funny. So, like I said, just holla at me. But with that said, let's get into the season, I'll call them, and how the point systems are going to work. So I decided to start this first season off on June 6th. So yes, that is Monday. And the reason for this is in the Strava app, the weeks run Monday to Sunday. So that gives me the ability on Sundays to come in here and view all of your information and get it all tallied up. And the way I'm making a slight change from like the One Wheel Racing League and One Wheel Underground is I believe from like the videos I watched, they do it on like a weekly. We're going to record points every 2 weeks. And the reason I'm doing that is because I understand that people have lives and like they don't have the time to necessarily get to all these locations in the course of a week. Just because we are kind of spread out from one another. Some of the locations are further from some folks, so I figure I'll give you guys 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks before the first recording of points. Then it'll be another 2 weeks and we'll record points. So there's essentially 4 quarters, if you break it up like that, to the first portion or season of the race league. It's going to run from June 6th to July 31st. So that means we'll be calculating points on 6/19, 7/3, 7/17, and 7/31. After that, we'll total them up and come out with, whoever's on top. But yeah, this is how the points work. So if you go to a segment, you run a segment, at the end of 2 weeks, I'm calculating the points. I get through everybody. If you come in first place, you get 4 points. You come in second place, you get 3 points. You come in third place, you get 2 points. And you come in top 10 leaderboard, you get 1 point. Now this is on every course. So let's say, for instance, Mercer County Park, for instance. I'm going to get into all the locations in a minute. Mercer County Park has 3 courses there. You have the opportunity to score 4 points on all 3 courses if you take first place on all of those. So that's 12 points at that one location. And other locations, do the math. So from there, when I do the total at the end, that's what that's going to be based off of, the points you get. So it's like the end of the first 2 weeks, I go in, whoever's first, second, third, fourth, top 10, you get your points. Next quarter. At the end, I total up everybody's points through each quarter and get a total for the final score. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Oh, so one huge thing, and I actually meant to start the video off with this. So, trail etiquette. We are the bottom of the totem pole. We yield to everyone. So I don't want you guys out there on just screaming by and ripping by pedestrians or mountain bikers and whatnot. Please pay attention to like these locations in the pedestrian, because there are a couple that have some paths, and actually I'm not done yet. I got to go through the list of locations. There are some locations that have some paths that go across like some pedestrian walks, and you will need to slow down and check your speed, make sure nobody's there. We don't want any problems. We don't want any issues. Please keep in mind, a lot of these locations are people's like local playgrounds, the places they go to relieve their stress, to get away from the realities of the world. Do not disrespect these locations. Do not, like I said, cause any issues when it comes to, if you show up there and there's a bunch of people at the park that day, that is not the most ideal day for you to race or to try to, run these courses. Me personally, I'm an early bird. I get up early on a Saturday and go out. As we know, it's going to get hot. So it's going to be something where people are going to be out in the evening. They're going to be walking. So trying to go during sunset might not be the most ideal thing. So you might need to get up early for these things. This is just my suggestion coming from me. But yes, please respect these locations. Do not cause any issues. I'm repeating it over and over again because I want this to be something that grows as big as everywhere else. Everybody here in New Jersey, you all watch the clips and you all see the Stoke that is not here. And that's what we're here. We're trying to raise the Stoke here in New Jersey and really get it jumping. I look at Jersey like a small California when it comes to the shape. I say this to people, they look at me like I'm crazy, but generally speaking, it's the same shape, just flipped. There's no reason why there can't be just as much Stoke up and down our shoreline, even though we're smaller, as there is theirs. Like, let's get it jumping, and that's what we're trying to do. So I'm rambling now. Let's run down the locations. So, first place we will start off with is Black Run Preserve. There are 3 courses at Black Run Preserve. I have made videos, recon videos, for all of these locations that are in this race course for you to preview. I will put the link down below to the playlist to those. They're all on my YouTube channel here. So watch them just to see what you're getting into. There's a couple of them that you got to study up a little bit for. They're not real hard, but there's a couple spots you might miss the turn. But anyway, Black Run Preserve. You have the yellow REI trail. That's a 1.63 mile loop. The white REI trail. It's a 2.97 mile loop. The last course there, we've coined the racetrack. It's a 2.02 mile out loop and back. Next place we have is Mercer County Park. We've got one I call Up Roots and Ladders. It's a 0.69 mile loop, which then takes you perfectly to enter Down Roots and Ladders, which is a 1.39 mile loop, which sets you up to then come back around to hit what I call the Lasso Loop, which is a 1.73 mile kind of loop out and back. Next location, Veterans Park. We have the Speed Trap. It's a 1.01 mile run through the park. This I can speak personally for. This is my local park. Please, people, there's 2 areas where you will cross a pedestrian walk. Please go during a time when there are not a lot of people there. It isn't an area where people like to walk at that park. So please, I beg you. It's a fun little spot. It's called Speed Trap for a reason. You can get a little bit of speed on it and there's surprises here and there. But yes, please, for me. Next location, Menino Park. It's a 2.14 mile loop. And we have Batstow. That's Batstow Village. There's the Batstow Blue Trail. It's a 1.48 mile loop. If I'm remembering correctly, this one, there is a spot towards the middle end that you will have to pick up your board and climb up a little bit of roots. And I preface you with that so everybody knows When you see it, don't be surprised. You want to lay a good time down, get up and get to hauling. And last but not least, everybody's favorite place, or at least a lot of people's favorite place, before we get to Frostwoods, which that might happen in the future, but S.A.R.L. At S.A.R.L, we got the S.A.R.L loop. It's a 0.73 mile loop. Takes you out and back. And those are all the courses. So I will end this video with saying, everyone, please be safe. You are all participating in this at your own risk and will and free will. Nobody is forcing you to do this. I do not want people, going out here trying to go balls to the wall and trying to set land speed records. This is for fun. This is for joy, fun for us, honestly, to get practice, so that way we can go to big events and race, and you get used to the pressures, of racing a little bit. But please be safe. Again, you are doing this at your own will, your own risk. You are responsible and liable for everything and anything that happens to you while you are out there. Many of these locations, we don't have legal paperwork or documents stating that we can actually race there. But I'm just trying to organize something for us all to have fun. It's not like, we're going to be 20 people deep mobbing through a small park. People are going to be going individual. This is where, respecting the land comes in. And you'll always hear me stress this because I'm big on it. From stunt riding motorcycles down to one wheel, respect is key when it comes to these places. But yeah, I'm not going to ramble on. Everybody, I appreciate you hanging in there. I appreciate your support. Stick with me. Again, as long as we stay positive and we are trying to raise the stoke here, I foresee good things happening for us here in New Jersey. I've met a lot of good, positive people in this journey so far, and I'm excited to see what you guys have in store for me, because honestly, I'm excited to see, who we got out there that's quick, who's going to be the first to go out and represent Humbly Savage down at one of these events, because that's something we will be looking to do and to have happen. Little foreshadow and insight on things. I'm kind of getting into things now I didn't even mean to, but we will be having merchandise when it comes to, shirts and whatnot. I'm actually working on something a little different that I feel like would be special, that would benefit you guys, that you could actually use out there. And I also would like to get some jerseys made up. Those lightweight, to keep, my thing is with those, to keep the poison ivy off you that's out there. But anyway, like, subscribe, be sure to subscribe. We will be having updates on the channel throughout the year. Follow us on Instagram, Humbly Savage. And yeah, everybody have fun first and foremost. Make it fun. But yeah, June, I don't forgot my own start date, June 6th. Let's go, people. Let's get out there. But anyway, this is the Savage Amateur Racing League, and let's have fun, y'all.